I'm Stephanie Caron, and you're watching TC Productions Presents Underground Sound.
How would you describe your style of music?
Normally when people ask me what my style of music is, I tell them just girl with a guitar pretty much. If I had to put a label on it, I guess it would be indie singer-songwriter. But most of the time when I write songs, I just write about life experiences and it just comes out. I don't have a roadmap for what kind of genre I want it to fit in. It just kind of happens. So, but yeah, indie, I guess.
What kind of mark do you want to leave in the world with your music?
The thing I want to do with music in the world is I really just want to make people dance. That's what it boils down to. I'm starting up a few band projects, and I just love it when people go see live music and they have a good time, they have fun with it. You know, I try to sneak in some, you know, personal wisdoms in my songs, and if people catch them, that's great. But there's just nothing beats, you know, the thrill of being on a stage and seeing people singing and dancing to stuff you made, and that's just a mind-blowing feeling. And so that's the mark I'd like to make with my music. Yeah.
What gets you in the mood to write music?
What gets me in the mood to write music? There's never any one particular thing. I'll just hear something random, maybe something someone says at work, and it'll just spark something like, oh my God, that'd make a great song. Or, you know, certain artists, if I listen to them, they'll inspire me to write music because I think, wow, those lyrics are awesome. I want to try to do that. It doesn't always work out as well, but yeah, anything like looking around at nature and trees and things, I've written songs off of that. Actually, the Start Again song I did, you know, it starts out the line, I'm sitting here listening to the sound of the rain, and that's actually what I was doing at the time. I was locked out of my apartment, sitting there waiting for a locksmith to get there to open the door for me, and it was raining, and so I just kind of started putting that together in my head. So it's just, you know, when it hits you, it hits you. And I actually have the worst problem with getting inspiration when I'm in the car. So I'm driving and I have nowhere to like to go with it. Like I'm like, oh, grab my phone, record something quick so I don't forget it. That happens a lot. But yeah.
Out of all the songs you've created, do you have one you feel extremely passionate about?
The one song I would have to say I feel more passionate about than others is probably Start Again, because that song was one that I wrote after a really long, brutal relationship that should never have happened to begin with, and it was just a process to get out of it, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, and so I sort of channeled that into that song, and that's one of the songs I'm most proud of and the ones that I feel more passionately about when I sing, and I feel like there's just more raw emotion in that song as opposed to some of the others. So.
Is there anyone in the industry, signed or unsigned, you admire or that you'd like to work with?
Unfortunately, yes. I would love to work with Janis Joplin, but she's no longer with us, so I don't know if that would be possible. But if I had to pick someone, because I actually cover one of her songs and I love singing it, and her voice is so weird, but I feel like I have a lot, like I listen to it. I used to hate her. I used to think that's not singing. What is that? But then I started to develop my own sort of raspy voice, and I thought, all right, I dig this. This is pretty cool. And yeah, artists like her, and you know, Tracy Chapman, you know, Tina Turner, awesome stuff. But unfortunately, I don't think many of them are available. But if we could figure that out, science, let's do it.
How does your style separate you from other artists?
My style separates me from other artists, I think, because I don't fall into a certain genre. Also, because I am an indie artist, and I feel like a lot of indie female artists all have the same kind of voice, and I feel like my voice is a little different. It's got, like I was talking about, that rasp. It's got rawness to it, sort of like the whiskey punk kind of thing that I think is missing in a lot of music today, and I think that's part of what separates me. Plus the hair. Yeah.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received as a musician would have to be, I'm drawing a blank. I guess the best advice I've ever received is someone just said, you know, never stop. Just keep doing it. You know, when you feel like things aren't going as well as what you wanted, or maybe your vision isn't coming together the way that you had planned, it doesn't really matter. Because as long as you're doing what makes you happy, that's what matters. And that's what I've done. And that's actually been, you know, largely part of my success in the local music industry, and getting gigs in places like that is just I'm persistent and I'm not going to stop, because it's what I love to do. It makes me happy. Usually, you know, a lot of times it makes other people happy, and you know, I love doing it, and it's brought me so much happiness and so much peace, and just, but you know, there are times when you want to stop. You just feel like, oh, it's, you know, I'm never at home anymore. I don't have any free time. You know, I'm always out trying to make all these other people happy, and it can get tiring, but it's such a great reason to be tired all the time. And you just have to stop every now and then and remember that, you know, you're doing something that you feel passionately about and you love doing, and that's what really gets you through it at the end. So,
Do you have any projects in the works or anything that you're working on right now?
yeah, I do have some projects I'm working on. I'm in a cover band, which, you know, is pretty self-explanatory, but I've also started another original band. We've written a couple songs. It's going to be a mix of sort of indie western rock, if that makes sense. It's sort of, you know, it's darker cowboy rock, I guess is how you would describe it. I sing for that, play acoustic guitar, and also some mandolin, and it's coming together really well. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Yeah.
And do you have any artists that are on your playlist right now that you're listening to, that you're really feeling right now?
At the moment, yeah. In my car right now, and my CD player is Gogol Bordello. I really like them. They're a gypsy punk band. They're sort of low key, but they're really awesome. They throw on a great show. I love listening to Fiona Apple. I don't know, her voice I really like, and like I said before, the Janice and yeah, stuff like that. It's a weird mix. My iPod is outrageous. You look at it and you're like, what is that? Next to that, it's a pretty eclectic taste, but for the moment, those are the artists I would have to say I'm listening to.